Alrighty.
Can you please look up this thing?
See if we can figure out something.
Okay. Hi. Let's wait for everyone to land. And get this back to the beginning because I was watching some of it myself. That was a smooth ride. Good to know. Because for me, it was pretty chilled. Click, click, done, click, do this, do that. Nothing has descriptions, but it's okay. We're rolling. So essentially, I made a playlist for yesterday, and then I didn't land up streaming. I decided to have like a no phone, no computer kind of day. Granted, I was watching old episodes of Hotel Hell. Was it Hotel Night? Gordon Ramsay, Hotel Hell, I think. Hotel Nightmares, whatever. Kitchen Nightmares Hotel version. I was watching that on my laptop. But this is all court stuff that I missed in the week. There's a little bit of Middleton, Kirkman, Kirkman is divorce court. There's Thurston, and who else? We've got a little bit of Manning, got Daniel Norbeck, who actually had a different judge in for him. There's a little bit of everything. These are all the ones that I wanted to see that I don't know what they're like. So please do let me know if they're boring. Present, share screen. Evie, welcome. Today I learned everyone doesn't have inner dialogue or scenarios. I don't really have inner dialogue as much as I have a lot of music. Music and random words. Oh, there is a footballer called Kylian Mbappe. And for months, my brain was just saying, Mbappe, Mbappe, Mbappe. I'd be trying to work and my brain would just be like, Mbappe. Or like a random song, just like one line of that song just goes on. But I don't really have inner dialogue. But I also have aphantasia most likely. So like I don't visualize things the way people often do. Anyway, let's jump over to Judge Middleton because you guys are going to be a big part of my procrastinating if we don't. And I'm going to have to push play and then go and get my earphones and crack on. I'm going to have to mute myself as well so there isn't an echo.
Good morning, everyone. Words of grapevine furniture. Beautiful day. Great to be alive. It's a wonderful day here in Michigan. We have a landlord-tenant docket this morning with a couple of civil matters in between. And then we don't have anything scheduled this afternoon. We were talking late in the day yesterday. Deputy Tyler was about to have a grandson. About 4 o'clock this morning, his grandson Tate was born. 9 pounds, 2 ounces. So congratulations to Deputy Tyler and his family. He's very
Hold on, I feel like we watched this one. I think we watched a bunch of this. Or was it just me by myself? That feels very familiar. June 28th. I think we watched this one. I think some of this might be July 12. Some of this, I might have made 2 playlists. Okay, give me a sec. I think I made 2 playlists and I put on the wrong one. Man. Saturday Chord Watching, updated yesterday. That's weird. Let's go to Thurston. Oh, yeah. Okay, I watched this one yesterday. This was a weird one. This weird.
Here at Thurston County District Court, the small claims calendar, and I see that number 1 on the calendar is coming out of Dispute Resolution Center for discussion. Let's see, Mr. Lou, do we have you there somewhere? Mr. Lou?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm
There
here.
you go.
Mhm.
Hello, and
Hello.
Stacy Macias on behalf of United Airlines, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
All right. Okay, let me put you both under oath and we'll get started. So Mr. Lou, if you'd raise your right hand with me.
Yeah.
Sir, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
All right, and then Ms. Macias, on behalf of United Airlines, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, so first things first, Mr. Lou, you're a King County resident, is that right?
correct.
And this was a flight out of SeaTac Airport up in King County?
Yes,
Okay, United Airlines was served at a mailbox here in Olympia appropriately, I see, but it's just a mailbox. I don't see any contacts with Thurston County. And so I'm asking United Airlines, do you consent or submit yourself to the jurisdiction of Thurston County courts, given that venue might be more appropriately in King County, but it's really up to you to decide if you'll submit yourself to the Thurston County Court. What's
That's fine.
all right, so there you go. We'll go forward then. And I see that service was had. Any issue there, Ms. Macias, about notice of this small claims?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah, it looked like everybody was pretty well apprised. So we're taking up case 37174. Mr. Lou, you made this claim against United Airlines, and I'll hear from you, and then I'll hear from United Airlines through Ms. Macias, their response to this claim, and then make a decision. So, Mr. Lou, why do you believe that United Airlines owes you about $9,000, it looks like? Why do you believe they do?
yes, Your Honor. Let me briefly tell you the story, the long, heartbreaking story, either for me, my daughter, 8 years old. During the Christmas time, and my daughter's dream to Mexico, and we want her dream come true. And I booked the ticket from UA Airlines. And UA Airlines, we booked 3 tickets. And since we went to Mexico, I'm very careful about the passport. But she has a expired passport. We know that. And then we get her birth certificate. I called the airlines 2 times, make sure my daughter has a valid document through the international border to Mexico. And instead of looking at online, which is not accurate during the pandemic or it's not updated, I trust more and over phone call, because they were trained professionally, the customer service, more updated information. I called them 2 times. I was all told Okay, birth certificate is okay since it's to Mexico, but with parents, if one parent didn't go, should sign. Then I got her mom signed the document with her birth certificate. We are free to go and we are happy. And however, when we get to Texas, Houston, get on board get to the airline, the plane, and we were unexpectedly horribly told by the staff of there, oh, the airport, the passport is expired, and the birth certificate is not valid. You cannot use this. You cannot use it, even with mother or father's signature. And we were blocked there, I think 1 hour before the flight, and it's horrible. We have nowhere to go. We stayed there during the winter time. My daughter was bursting into tears, and that's something like Then I called the UA, the customer service, right away, and they said, oh, that's something. I said, could you find the record? Who gave me the information? Who is misleading us? And they said, oh, they cannot find the record. There's no record. And then I said, oh, can you change the flight ticket? We need to go back to Seattle. We cannot stay there. Further financial damage, because that costs hotels over the $6,000, all the suite tickets over $10,000. We said we need to go back to Seattle. And can you find the flight? However, during the Christmas time, it's sky high price, and they don't have a flight. And we have to stay there. Houston, we drive around. We have to stay. Then we stay there, book hotels, further finance damages. And later on, we decided, no, we cannot stay here. Let's go back to Seattle. Then I called them back. I think within a couple of hours, I called them back again, the same number. And they said, oh, sorry, your flight ticket back to Seattle was canceled. Oh my goodness, that's a second damage. That's second horrible. And well, I called them, who canceled it? Who can you find the lady? I know it's a lady, but they said they cannot find. They have so many reservation departments, they cannot find. They have no record. I know UA always, when we make a phone call, oh, your call will be recorded for the training purposes. But this time, we cannot find the record, no record. So we stay there. We have to stay there in travel around a little bit, go to, then we eventually got a ticket. Let's say go to Orleans. We go to Orleans. Then from Orleans, we have ticket fly back to Seattle. That's the reason we have further damage. Later on, when we got back to Seattle, I think, no, that's not right. UA, why they treat us like this? No record, change without permission, and give us inaccurate information, misleading us, and that's not correct. That's then I called the phone number, which the phone number, the lady was kind of, oh yes, okay, that's something like, we give you compensation $1,200, and then you get the credit back where you get the money credit to your back credit card. Then I said, oh, they said, oh, tomorrow, in a week. I called all the times, but that takes 6 months. This is all the record, and no money get my credit card.
What you're holding up, I can't see. Is that what you filed with the court?
Yeah, this one,
Don't hold it up to the camera. If you filed it with the court, just let's talk about it.
Yeah, I think there's a statement. I read everything on the statement. I think there's a statement on my track record. See, I said not.
So you filed a 2-page document, and you filed let's see, and it has lots of handwriting on it. Is that what you're referring to? Thank you.
Yeah, because this is the record. Yeah, this is the record. Yeah.
So something different that.
No,
something different that you did file?
No, they are the same, but that's the handwriting. But that one I spelled to you is I read.
Steve, I just came here exactly right now to do the heart thing and to move myself, because I just opened it on my phone and I was like, I'm literally in the worst spot possible. I think I was hoping that I could lure a cat to this chair so that you could see the kitty while I'm busy, but alas, they are not jumping onto it now because I don't need it, so they wouldn't be here, would they? If I needed it, they 100% would be sitting here. Okay, that should be better.
Right, I typewrite it. It's
right.
not.
Is this the same? what I'm trying to understand is what you tried to put up at the camera, which is impossible for the court to see.
Uh-huh.
Is that the document you filed with the court?
I'm not sure I filed this. I can file it. I can scan it right away. I can do it. Yeah, but I think I read it down in handwriting.
So you did file a 2-page document here with lots of handwriting on it. Did you want me to take something from that would be important for your case?
Oh, you can take a look if you have time, Your Honor. You can take
Well, that's what it's all about. Why don't you direct me as to why you think this is persuasive or what's important in this that I should pay attention to?
And okay, can I continue, or you want to look at
Sure.
it? Take a minute? Okay, good.
Well,
Okay.
it's your case and you have to tell me what you think is important, and you filed these documents. If you want me to understand them, it might be better because there's a lot of difficult to read handwriting on it. It shows that you had a ticket, and I don't think that's in disagreement from what I've seen from the documents filed by United Airlines. I think everybody agrees that. Is really your claim. Let me figure out what your claim exactly is.
Okay.
So it's almost $9,000. Is there proof of that claim somewhere that what is that? Break that down.
Okay. So that's the phone number I called. They said they promised to give me the $1,200, but I never received that after 6, 7, 8 months until November last year. I didn't get that money.
Yeah, and here, Mr. Liu, I want to know what your claim is. You're saying that United Airlines owes you about $9,000. Tell me what that money is. Is that a ticket? What is that?
That is a hotel. All the itineraries ruined. The hotel in Mexico, the flight ticket, and all the 3 flight tickets, and also the money we have to stayed in Houston, Texas, because we have to stay there. We cannot go back home. They canceled my ticket.
So what did the hotel in Mexico cost you?
The hotel over there, I think it's a package all inclusive. I think it's around $6,000 something. Yeah.
How much?
It's about $6,000 something in Mexico. The total package.
$600.
$600 include the ticket, flight ticket.
And then the ticket the flight cost you what?
Flight ticket cost me $5,543. The total ticket.
That was for 3 of you?
Yeah, for 3 of us. Yeah.
Okay. And so you're traveling with your 7-year-old daughter and your other daughter?
Daughter's sort of friend, but a nanny take care of her.
Okay. So 2 adults and your daughter who's 7?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
And 7. Okay. And so you paid and you were out from that Mexico hotel. They kept your money?
The maximum, I think they credit one night or 2 nights. I need to check that money. They credit because we didn't go there. They said, oh, normally we don't credit, but for your case, it's not your fault. We credit you some. I need to check the number. Maybe they credit me 1 or 2 nights. We book 7 nights.
Okay.
7 days package.
So your job here is to prove to the court what money you're out because of United Airlines. So it's not just, I think, it's what you know and you have support for.
Okay.
So
okay, I will get that accurate number. The UA keeps saying that get the excuse said the number I called is not their number, not the reservation number, is some scammers.
So I want to get to the bottom of what your claim is, what the money is that you're asking for and what it's about and what proof you have of it. And then we can go on. But
okay,
I haven't heard that yet.
I think my total number I claimed, I sent it to Stacy, the lady. is my flight ticket and the $8,900 is a small claim. I think that include my sort of compensation for my flight ticket, hotels, all the time spent in Houston, Texas, and I think also a little bit. Let me see. I think it's $8,900 as my small claim total, include everything.
You have to break that down into what each of the claims
Oh,
are.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. $5,543 is a flight ticket, and the hotel is around $900.
$900
Yeah,
for the
$900
hotel
that-
in Mexico?
No, in Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas.
Okay, 900 for the hotel in
Yeah, in
Houston.
Texas. And Mexico, let's say around, I think around $3,000.
300?
$3,000. $3,000.
3,000?
Yeah, yeah.
3000 or
Yeah,
300?
3,000, 3K.
Okay, thanks. 3K.
3K, yes,
All right.
Uh-huh.
And you said they refunded you, a hotel in Mexico refunded you some money. Is that
Yeah.
still $3,000 without the refund or?
That I think the refund, if they refund me one night, or that's probably around $500. That total probably $2,500.
So
Yeah.
2,500. Okay.
They
you
refund me,
got
yeah.
there. All right, so that's what your claim is. And so then, all right, I've had benefit of what you wrote. I'm looking at as well, UA's exhibits to understand the claim. So you're asking, so let me ask you, so I'm still trying to figure out how you're saying United Airlines advised you incorrectly, is what you're saying about your 7-year-old daughter's documents needed to travel internationally.
Yes, I was so careful about that because I know how important. That's the reason I called 2 times to confirm this by person, their professional customer service.
Have you ever traveled overseas with your daughter before? No, overseas, internationally with your daughter before?
Yes, I went to
Okay.
Mexico, Canada. Yes.
Okay, and so you knew her passport was expired, and so then you heard from someone that you called at United Airlines that her birth certificate would be fine with a letter from the other parent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, and so then you filed a screenshot of a United Airlines page with a woman on it, not finding what you're looking for, contact us. What do I take from that? Why is that persuasive to your case?
Because as a customer, we always, the traditional way is more dependable, reliable, and online during the pandemic, they may not upgrade, not updated it. That's the reason I believe the customer online phone call is more reliable. It is a final answer because this live people, real professional trained. That's really we trust that instead of online. But Mr. Stay said, "Oh, we everything post online." That's fine, but it's not updated or customer do not know. That's really I trust the real person, not virtual. Right now, there's so many virtual chat online, but I'm traditional.
Well, I don't blame you. I like talking to people too.
Thank
So when you got to Houston, it was when was it that you were denied boarding? Was it where were you? Who
Just
denied
in front
that?
of the door, just 1 hour in the flight before the flight. That's so horrible during Christmas time. Oh my goodness.
So was it when you were
It's
going through
nightmare.
security or when you were at checking?
No, not secret. The ticket check-in, the check-in ticket.
Oh, when you got to the gate? When
Yeah,
you got to the gate?
Yeah, I'm still. Oh my goodness, that's nightmare. Yeah, the gate.
So when you got to the gate, the plane is loading. That's when you found out your daughter's
No, not the
documents were
check-in.
good.
You check your information, passport information. The one, the front desk, you check the information, then you check the baggage. That's a place.
Okay, but but you said it was Houston that occurred.
Houston, yeah, Houston, Texas, yeah.
So you talked to United States Immigration?
No, the flight attendant, the front desk, the lady, gentlemen, they stay there, check your passport, and give you the boarding pass. Give you, boarding pass. Yeah, boarding pass.
All right.
Yeah. Flight Seattle to
got
Houston,
it.
no problem. We got there happily.
Yeah, so Houston internationally. Okay. All right. Well,
The worst thing is that
anything
they
else?
cancel my
Yeah.
flight ticket. That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing. They cancel my flight ticket. They cannot find it. They are so huge company. We don't know where to talk. Only sees customer service, but they are so.
So the
I don't know what-
canceling of your ticket, is that any part of your claim or is that just bothersome?
Because
I know
that caused the further financial damage. Because we can
Which
we have
one?
to,
Which
cancel the
damage?
flight ticket from Houston to Seattle because we need to come back, cancel that flight ticket. Otherwise, we will not stay there for the financial further hotels, rent
What
the
did
car.
that cost you? What
Huh?
did that cost you? What, you're saying that you were damaged. How were you damaged? How much?
That damage, the rental car probably $500, and the hotel probably $900. That's I think stay in Houston. Then we go to Orleans, New Orleans, Louisiana, because we travel to there for 2 days, 3 days because we have that's cost another money.
And so you went to New Orleans because that's a flight you got from United Airlines. Why did you go to New Orleans?
Because my daughter said, "Oh, Daddy, my teacher told me her hometown is New Orleans. Let's go there. Let's go there. We have to go there, or we better go there. Compensate something for her, you know."
Okay. So that was a choice instead of going to Cancun.
Yeah, that's a way we cannot do. But that's the best thing of the worst because we cannot go Cancun is the place. But New Orleans may give her 10%, 20% compensation. Oh, I go to New Orleans. That's as a daddy I can do.
Yeah. So you did that. All right.
Yeah.
And then the Houston costs of a car rental, 500 and a hotel of 900. Is that included in what you told me before?
I think I included that. I think I included that one. Yeah, I think I included that.
All right. The rental car, what did that have to do with that? What was that for?
We drive to let's say we drive to around because we cannot stay in the winter or the hotel, right? I drove my daughter to Austin, San Antonio, the two cities. My daughter want to see.
Why did you go there?
Huh?
Why did you go there?
Because my daughter said, "Oh, she learned the history, the San Antonio, Austin, and she want to see." And let's bring her there.
To Seattle, is that what you're saying? And this is what you did while you're waiting for your flight to Seattle, or?
Seattle, Houston, where we are going, waiting for go back to Seattle, right? And I drove her to somewhere, to Austin, San Antonio. That's a place. Because Houston is.
So why did you go there? Why did you rent a car to go there? And why is that?
Because we stay there in Houston for another 3, 4, 5 days because we cannot go back. No ticket.
Okay.
You will cancel the ticket. We cannot come back. We have to wait. Yeah.
Okay, so you're waiting 3 to 5 days to get a ticket
to get back to Seattle. Yeah.
All right, and this is all going back to being denied international travel because of a lack of the correct documents that you thought you had been advised correctly by United Airlines. Okay, let me turn to United Airlines and see, and I've had a chance, as I hope you did, to go through all of their documents that have been filed in the court file since a very long time ago. So Ms. Macias, then you're obviously here representing United Airlines, Inc., and you're able to bind them in litigation, obviously, right?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
So your answer to this claim?
My answer to this claim is that we do not owe the passenger $8,900. The crux of the claim is the documents. And if you look that his daughter did not have her passport was expiring, which he has admitted that he was aware of. If you look at Exhibit D1 on page
May I have
2,
that? Yes.
okay. On page 2, I have it highlighted where he says that he knew his daughter's passport was expiring. So that's what necessitated the initial change for the ticket. If you go up to page 1, I highlighted a number that he says he called. I have been an employee with United Airlines for over 25 years, and that is not our reservation number. Our reservation number is, in fact, 1-800-864-8331. When I saw that he was contacting someone from that particular number, I went online to Google it because I know that there's a lot of companies out there who try to scam people. And I have seen that in the past. It's a rarity, but it does happen. And the number that he was calling, 1-800-497-6075, shows to belong to a skyfairtravel.com. And when someone called, they were told that they were talking to someone with Delta Airlines. That number's not a United Airlines number. So he has not been talking to a United Airlines employee when he says he's called this number. So I'm not quite sure who he was speaking with, but the people that he names in his court documents are not United employees. I do show that in exhibit D5, if you go to the box that is titled issuance on the first page,
Yes.
it shows the agency name that he actually booked the trip through. It was Expedia. So he booked this ticket through Expedia.
Mhm.
I do know also that anytime a passenger, we can't make a change to an itinerary unless we have authorization from that passenger. So because I cannot verify that number that he's stating he called is not, I can verify it's not a United number. I don't know who he was calling. Any changes that he's claiming to have made were not made through United. So I don't know exactly how his ticket was canceled, but I do see that he did have a reservation with us. So again, I'm not sure who he was talking to, but I know it wasn't someone within our United reservations number. So he's also on top of the, so according to him, he's saying that we owed him credit. So when he was calling this number, they were telling him, oh, we'll give you your credit back. And in the court documents, he mentions $1,400. Well, when I got the case, I looked into it. And if you look at exhibit D2, he did in fact have flight credit. He had 3 flight credits, each for $402.25. And that would have been equal to $1,206.75, which is what I'm willing to refund him in the form of a check because that is his due credit. The other thing, oh, go ahead.
Kind of back us up. This all comes to be because what we've heard from Mr. Liu is that he thought he was informed by United Airlines that his child's birth certificate with a letter from the mom and him there would be sufficient to go on international travel. And so therefore, he believes United then should pay for all of his expenses once he was denied the ability to go from Houston to Cancun. So what about that issue?
Okay, so
United?
yes, so on that, Your Honor, because the number in question that he's calling is not a United number, I can certify that if you look at exhibit D3, this is a screenshot of our United website. and it has a page on there that says international travel document requirements. And the second paragraph starts, each customer traveling across any international boundary is solely responsible for obtaining all necessary travel documents and for complying with the laws of each country. The United States traveling out to any country has not allowed a birth certificate for decades. It's always been the passport. And I understand what Mr. Lewis saying that he'd rather call, but it's clearly here on our website that he needs to contact that country. He needs to go and look on the country's website to ensure that he can enter with whatever document he has. When our Houston agent saw that the daughter did not have a passport, she could not, because of that country's law that we're bound to, she could not let that little girl travel without a confirmed passport. If you look on page 2 of that document, it also shows our contract of carriage, and I highlighted in particular Rule 3 and Rule 19. If you go to page 3, it says that the passengers agreeing to all of the domestic and international carriage rules that are within the document, including letter D, which is certain international carriage is subject to rules relating to liability established by and to all other provisions of the Warsaw and/or Montreal Convention. So that's just saying that if he travels outside the United States, he's under one of these two conventions. And then letter I, and I'll address letter I in a minute, it talks about how United is not liable for any consequential, compensatory, indirect, incidental, or punitive damages. So because he did not have the correct documents, and we have the ability to, at that point, say yay or nay. If you go down to page 4, Rule 19, I've highlighted where it says that we have the right to refuse travel if we've seen that the travel documents presented to us are not accurate. So I think that's relevant in this case, considering the fact that he has not been calling our reservations line. I know that our customer service agents are well aware of what's required when traveling international, because we deal with international travel all the time. But at the end of the day, he has some culpability as far as making sure that his documents are correct. And so with regards to his stay in Houston and the car rental, that's considered compensatory and consequential damages because he, again, was responsible to have the passport up to date and not expired. And he failed to do that when he showed up in Houston to check in for that international flight. So we could not let him continue traveling on to Mexico, because in Mexico, they wouldn't have let him in. They would have just turned him right back around. And so United Airlines agent at that call made a call that was correct in saying that he did not have the correct documents, and so he was not allowed to travel.
Can I bother you once, madam? I'm
All
looking.
right, so slow down, Mr. Liu, slow down.
Yeah,
Let me
okay.
review a few things and then I will give you just a minute to respond here. Let me
Thank you.
review something though and see if I have a question of you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Liu, a short response.
So the thing is that it would be so much more negligent for them to allow him and his daughter to travel without her having a passport, because one, it's the law in Mexico that he would have to have her passport, not an ID, and two, for the chaff I see blah blah of children, like he has to have that exact specific document. Like, I don't care what happened after that, how many flights, what was cancelled, whatever. that is just 100% his fault.
Response about something?
Yeah, of course. Mrs. Stacy, I'm not saying you are working for 25 years. I just feel something like really weird and strange for what you said. 25 years. I traveled to Mexico. I'm looking Google right now while you are talking. That's so funny. You are talking. Here, I searched Google. Birth certificate, travel to Canada and Mexico. The first line said, let me read to you. Your Honor, can I read to you?
No, Mr. Liu,
Yeah.
what you're looking at is I don't even know what you're looking at.
No,
We
no,
can't
the Google search.
substantiate
Google
authentic-
search.
No, I'm not going to accept it as relevant nor admissible. Nobody can look at it and
Oh,
authenticate it
yeah.
and so forth. So, Mr. Liu, what about this? So you knew your daughter's passport was expired. You counted on United Airlines to tell you what she needed. So, Mr. Liu, the deal is, I think all of the contracts that you made here made it clear that, and you do have some experience traveling with your child. You told me you have an obligation. We all have an obligation to make sure that we're allowed into another country, and we do that by contacting the best resources, that country, and our federal immigration and passport regulations. So, and it makes it clear here that United Airlines is not liable for the mistakes by passengers in what they think is good enough to get internationally. And so they can't let you go unless you have the right stuff. And so that's what happened in Houston. So everything that came after that is attributable to your lack of due diligence for your daughter. So your claim is dismissed. There is no award. Sounded like United was interested in settling in some way. I don't know if they still are. I'm not making a judgment for them. You're not, this judgment, your case is dismissed. I guess it's really up to you if you want to contact Delta or United and see if they want to work with you again, but I'm not ordering them to do anything because I don't have that authority. But from what you've presented, what I've heard from United, all the information I've reviewed, your claim does not say that Delta owes you any, or United owes you any money. So it's dismissed.
Okay,
And
how
that's it
about they cancel,
today.
madam, how about they cancel our ticket? They should
And I'm not arguing with you, Mr. Liu. I've made a decision. I've reviewed all of this. And if you feel the need to appeal it, then you take it to a different court. But we're done. Unfortunately, you didn't have the right documents for your daughter, and that was your obligation, not United's.
But
They
they
simply have the obligation to
but
make
they-
sure that you didn't
but-
leave the country with the wrong documents.
No, but
So
here
I'm signing an order that dismisses your claim against United. And that's all for today. I don't know if they're still open to talking to you, but that's up to the two of you. So I'm going to move on to other cases.
Thank you, Your Honor. Is it
Thank
okay
you,
for me to log off?
Yes, United can log off, and Mr. Liu, you can log off. I know you don't like the result, but that's the end of small claims. So do we have anyone else ready?
Yes, we have Bristol versus Sears.
Okay, those one, the other ones, who settled or what's going on with Silver Oaks?
Silver Oaks, they settled.
Okay, Booth,
I'm sorry,
Booth,
they are still in mediation right now.
okay, and then Frederick, Friedrich.
They settled as well.
Okay, so those are done. All right. And then we're still waiting on Booth. And you have a question or something? Oh, you're gonna give him a break? Okay. All right. So in order here, what do we have here? All right, so in order of filing, so Ms. Kammerer, Vicky Kammerer, are you there? Vicky Kammerer, you'd unmute, start your camera.
Vicky camera.
Thank you.
Vicky
All right, and
camera.
I've got Christian Cobb and Adele, is Adele or Adele?
Natalie.
Adelie, I'm sorry, Miss Saban. We have Mr. Cobb somewhere.
I'm
Mr.
present, Your
Cobb,
Honor.
start your video, Mr. Cobb.
It won't work for some reason.
I need you on video. Doesn't work without video. Can you find another device? Can you make that work today?
I don't think I can today, no.
Okay, then you should have come to court because you need to be in a position. Zoom is just an alternative. Everyone needs to be able to see each other and hear each other, and I can't do this unless you are able to be seen by all parties and I can see you too. So, and you're not able to do that today then, you're telling me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you are part of this lawsuit, you're being sued. So, let me ask Ms. Saban and Mr. Cobb, this is kind of the two of you that you've got information from both of you about all this. Ms. Saban, you need both of you to go forward with this suit.
Right.
Yeah,
You're not married, domestic partnership or anything?
we were married during the time that we were going like in the apartment, but we are no longer married.
Okay, so you're married at the time, but all right, you can't find each other now. All right, well, Mr. Cobb, that's the problem. I need you to be either in court or on Zoom in a way that you would be seen and heard as if you were in court, and I can't see you and can't be seen by Ms. Saban, and Ms. Kammerer can't, and that's not gonna work. So, are you living locally?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
All right, well, we're gonna reset the matter and ask you to either come into court or make sure that you've got a fully functioning Zoom connection that you can make it a good alternative because it's not gonna work today.
And
So unfortunately, that puts Ms. Kammerer and Ms. Saban in a position of having to start all over here, and we'll, not all over, but we'll set this for trial on a different day. So we're looking still August 23rd, I think.
Your Honor,
Okay. Ms. Kammerer?
Mr. Cobb had his audio working earlier when he first logged in.
Audio, but video.
Pardon?
We have audio. I can hear him. No video.
Right,
So-
he had video working when he logged in. So I
Mr.
just
Cobb
wondered
says
if
he can't seem to get it going. Mr. Cobb?
yeah, it won't work right now for some reason.
Well, all right, so you're gonna be in court in person then if you can't get a good Zoom connection at the next hearing. It's gonna be August 23rd is our first setting. So Ms. Saban, how you looking for August 23rd for the morning of, that's a Friday?
Works for me.
Pardon?
That works.
Okay, Ms. Kammerer, August 23rd, it's a Friday?
I'll make it work.
Okay, I mean, we can set another date if that's not gonna work, Ms. Kammerer.
I don't have my calendar in front of me,
Well,
but
are you,
I will make it work.
okay, is it simple enough to grab your calendar and check?
Sure.
Okay, why don't you do that? I don't want to inconvenience anyone too much here. Mr. Cobb, we're looking at August 23rd.
That's good, Your Honor.
All right, so we're just gonna hear from Ms. Kammerer before we get that set.
What time would that be, of day would that be?
Well, start at 8:30, be here for the morning, just like today.
That would work. I have an eye injection that afternoon.
Okay, so if we get, yeah, you'll get out of here by noon, so don't worry.
Okay.
So August 23rd it is. Nobody has to serve notice on anyone anymore, so write that down. Be clear, August 23rd, 8:30, be back in Thurston County District Court. You can come by Zoom, but you gotta have a good connection. You gotta have video that's clear. If not, that's an alternative to showing up in person. If you can't do Zoom, then come on in person. That's the first way to consider doing it. So we'll see you on August 23rd and take everything up for trial that day. Now, in between now and August 23rd, no one's prevented from talking to each other, from accessing more time with Dispute Resolution Center. You can all talk, you can figure it out. If you settle it in the meantime, just let us know, we'll cancel the hearing. But feel free to continue those discussions, and potentially Dispute Resolution Center can help you if you want. Any questions, Ms. Sabin?
Nope.
Okay, Ms. Camp.
I would like to get phone numbers that are accurate for both parties. Apparently, the phone number for Christian Cobb was changed and I don't have a current number.
Do you have a good number for Ms. Sabin?
Yeah, I can give you that.
Okay,
You
Mr.
ready?
Cobb, what's the number?
618-731.
And Ms. Cameron, do you need a number for Ms. Sabin, or do you have it?
I would like one.
Okay, Ms. Sabin, you can either put it in the chat for Ms. Cameron or just say it out loud. It's up to you.
360.
670 is the prefix?
360
360.
880
Ah. Sorry.
and then 367.
Thank you.
All right, and Ms. Sabin, do you know how to be in touch with Ms. Cameron? Everyone, you've traded your number, Ms. Cameron, with everyone?
They may not have it because they were dealing with my property manager.
All right, well, everybody decide. I mean, you can contact them, and if you want to give their number, then there you go. So we'll see y'all August 23rd.
Okay.
And see where we are then.
Do we sign in with the same? I'm sorry,
It'll be courtroom 3.
the same
The
login?
same login. Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Thanks, Ms. Sabin, Ms. Cameron, Mr. Cobb, you can be on your way.
Thank you.
Mr. Percival, why don't you come on up and have a seat at one of the tables you like? Boy, I know. Never quite know what's gonna happen.
Because,
Well, just have a seat and just have a seat right now.
no, this is just from them.
We'll figure it
don't know
all
if you
out,
have
but I
that
just
or
want to
not.
get everybody in here. And, all right, so we got Beth Meir from Sears Transform Co. Is that the name of the company?
No, Sears Holdings filed for bankruptcy in 2018. Transform, yeah. Transform assumed certain assets, including stores, protection agreements, that kind of thing.
Okay, so the name of the company is Transform Co.
It should be, so that's kind of like a nickname. So the true entity is Transform Sears Home Services LLC. 'Cause it's a
Transform
service.
Sears LLC. Okay, yeah, this is starting to make a little more sense. All right, let me put you both under oath and then we can get started. So first off, Mr. Percival, raise your right hand with me. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, and then Ms. Neer, then raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thanks. So I think we've answered Ms. Neer a lot of questions because I looked at Sears and I went, wait, and so now I understand Transform Sears LLC is who you're representing. This is claim number 37325 filed by Mr. Percival and his wife, right? Denise is your
Yes,
wife? Okay.
correct.
You're representing the community, right?
Yes,
Okay. She's unable to be here because of grandkids.
yes.
And you're suing well, so first off, what I see is that, let me get this up. I just had a question here of, so the Percivals live in Olympia, Thurston County. This is Thurston County District Court. Transform Sears LLC is in Illinois. Is that right? Ms.
Correct.
Neer?
Yes.
Okay. You have a mailbox here in Thurston County. And that's where, but your company was served in Illinois.
Correct.
All right. And do you object to this court? Do you submit to this court making decisions on this case, or should it be filed in Illinois?
No, I have no objections staying with this court.
Okay. And then the next question is, how are you related to Transform Sears LLC?
So I'm in the law department. My title is legal litigation specialist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like then you're allowed by the company to bind them in litigation.
Correct.
Okay, got that settled. So we have the right people here. All right, Mr. Percival, then what I'm going to do here is just turn to Mr. Percival first. He started this claim. He says that your company owes him about $800, $900. And we're going to hear from Mr. Percival about that, why he thinks that, map that out. And then I'm going to turn to you on behalf of Sears Transform LLC and see what your side of that claim is, what you think. And then I'll make a decision. And there you go. So, on to you, Mr. Percival. Why do they owe you? Why do they owe you money? What
Can
what
I
is it?
continue this, what they have?
Okay, you've got
I don't
something
know
for
if you
me.
have this or not, because they mailed this to me Wednesday.
What it, well,
It's what she's trying to say.
you're handed to me if you would.
I don't know if this is.
Don't testify, just hand
No,
me
no, no,
stuff
no,
and then
it
we'll
isn't
have you
part
sit
of my
down
stuff.
because I want you on the record and that
Okay,
red thing
all
right
right.
there, that captures your voice
Oh,
and we're
all
making
right.
an oral
I'm sorry.
recording.
I'm
It's
sorry.
okay, it's pretty good.
Okay.
But I don't want you wandering around and then we won't capture what you have to say. So you
Okay.
handed me some packets. It looks like this may have been, where did you get this?
They sent it to me overnight
Okay.
mail from
And you just got it when?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yes.
All right. And it looks like some of what I may have reviewed. So looks like some of what I might have reviewed in the court file, but let me see. Well, with that, I guess that's sometimes my first question here. Are you, Mr. Percival, do you feel prepared to present your case?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you've been getting this on Wednesday, you're good to go?
My doctor, everything that I have is inside. The only thing is I did put a table of contents, but the first letter kind of points out everything that we wrote out.
Okay,
It says, but the other stuff pertains to, she's saying that they
I
don't.
don't ask you to testify right now. I just
Okay.
want to be sure you're ready to go. You're not
yes,
gonna go, I got this
Nope.
Wednesday and, oh, I didn't think about
No,
that and
I
I
got-
gotta think
got
about it.
I got
Okay,
it.
and I'm just trying to be sure. All right, so you got this. I'm just wondering if I got it. So, Ms. Neer, I'm not asking you to start testifying, but whatever information that Mr. Percival got just the other day, it looks much like maybe what you've already filed with the court.
Yes, I tried sending it via email, but it bounced back. So that's why I overnighted the documents.
All
tonight.
right, yeah, I thought I did see this. Good, so it's not new information, but it's helpful to have it in a hard copy. All right, so Mr. Percival, then why do they owe you money? And if you've got exhibits or something, tell me.
There's a lot of exhibits on there, and first is our letter, why we're filing a suit. And I'll go to the exhibits afterwards, but
Okay,
the reason we filed the suit was we had Sears come out because we bought a refrigerator for them back in 2017.
Mhm.
Unknowing to us, the problems they had, till I researched it later. But anyway, so the tech came out, it's gonna charge us $119 to test it and see why it wasn't working. So, okay, we agreed to it.
and the tech was from the.
Sears Home
All
Services.
right, okay,
And then so he said, before I can test it, you have to sign this because I have to plug into your compressor line to see if it's failing. I said, okay. So then once he tested it, and he says, okay, the compressor's bad. He says, I'm gonna have to order the parts to repair it. He says, it's gonna cost $802. I says, okay. So after he took the money and he ordered the parts, then he informs us,
so you gave that
well, it's
person
my-
$802.
for our credit card, which I'm disputing right now, so it's in dispute.
So you put it on your credit card,
Correct.
$802 and the 119?
No, they didn't charge me that because that was part of it. We paid
Okay,
the 802, it would be part of the bill.
okay,
So anyway,
it.
so after we paid the money, he informs us, well, it could take up to the 15th. This was on the 30th of May.
May.
So the 15th of June, he says it could take up to that long. So we're asking why? Well, we don't know where the parts are. So, okay, so we're at a kind of a quandary now. We're already paying money. He's got our money. So anyway, we pay the money. After 5 days, we had to buy a refrigerator because we had no food we could store. I can't go out 3 times a day to get food. We're retired, fixed income. So anyway, on the 13th, we start question, we haven't heard anything. Let me back up a little bit. They said they're waiting for the parts. Okay, we had the parts after like 7 days after you put this order in. They're sitting in my garage on my workbench. I call overseas, their company is overseas that you have to deal with.
They were mailed to your home?
They
Okay.
mail them directly to
Alright,
you.
so you get the parts, and the
Yes.
thought was that the $802 was just for parts or
No,
for them to
to
come
put
back
them
and
in
put
it,
it in?
to put the parts
all right.
in.
And why do you, all right.
Okay, so
get that.
moving on. So I call these people overseas, their contacts, and said, we need to talk some of the parts here. We need somebody to come out and repair it. Well, we don't see the parts have shipped. I says, I'm looking at the parts after hours. You've been overseas, you know what I'm talking about. Trying to talk to these people that don't understand what you're trying to say. So this went on and went on. So the parts have been here for quite a while. So on the 13th, we still haven't heard anything. So we contacted them. Well, we don't show the parts have shipped. I said, the parts are here after an hour on the phone. So on the 15th, when they're supposed to show up, we don't get contact. Nobody calls us. Once again, we're on the phone overseas. Well, the technician's sick. What do you mean he's sick? I don't care if the guy's sick. Where's the guy come fix our refrigerator? So when is he going to come out? The 21st
Of June.
June.
Okay.
I says, what do you mean the 21st? I said, so you can't bump somebody again to send us somebody? No, we can't do that. What do you mean? I says, I've been waiting all this time. They wouldn't do it. Says, okay, so then we move on. That's when I filed the lawsuit. That's why I said enough is enough. So then the 21st technician comes out. Late in the afternoon, fixes the refrigerator. Wasn't fixed.
So on the 21st, someone
It was
comes
the first
out,
attempt to fix it.
and then they, as you presume, they put in the parts that you paid $802
They put the
for.
parts in. He did not put the things in correctly.
So then when you there and you turned it on, it didn't work? or
Well, he
what
said,
happened?
okay, give it a couple hours, it'll work. Well, he didn't stay, he left.
All right.
So about a couple hours later, I put my temperature gauge in there. It's reading 73 degrees in the top part of the refrigerator.
Okay.
So I texted him and I sent if you look at the exhibits, the last part, you see the text.
Which
It'd be at the last part because I put 3 more files in there. One is from text messages back and forth where
last part, so I've got a lot of pages.
I know there's a lot of pages. So it'd be like I get down to the refrigerator showing that I don't use this refrigerator. I taped it to keep it open so it doesn't get mold in it. When you get to that part, you'll see some text messages back and forth.
So screenshots of text messages
Yes.
are getting there.
There's a lot of information in there, just showing you where lawsuits were, Better Business Bureau and showing their business practices, that people have complained about them, what they do. And that, so bottom line with this tech is, so I text,
What do I take from the texts?
so what he's telling me is the original tech was Charles. Okay, so I'm texting him, I says, why isn't somebody come out and fix it? I need my refrigerator. He texts me back, I'm sorry, I didn't respond to you. I just got back from vacation after they told me the guy was sick.
Okay.
So they lied about that. So here they are,
Let me understand
Yes.
better. $802 is your claim.
$812
Okay.
is for the repair that they did that they didn't do. It's like, it's kind of
Okay.
like a contract.
So we got to the repair some point, it worked or not?
The 23rd, 23 days after,
Third,
23 days after he originally put it for the
somebody
parts.
else comes in. And then what happened
Well, the
there?
21st is when somebody came in,
Yep.
bundled it, didn't do it right.
And then,
Then I texted him, which you'll see in there, and he says, you'll have to call the warranty department to reschedule somebody come out and fix it.
okay,
I can't come out and do it. So then the guy comes out the 23rd, which is the original tech, Charles. And he goes, well, the guy, I'm coming behind him constantly that he messes up. So I had to repair. So here I'm another 2 days without refrigerator that you're charging me this money.
all right, so
Like-
did that, what did he do?
He
the
fixed
part?
it. He fixed it after the guy
And so
bundled
now
it.
you've got a running refrigerator.
I have a
June
running
23rd.
after 23 days.
Okay, got it. And so that was the same company then?
Correct.
Here's what's-
But
all
if you
right.
kind of go back in all the documentation, what I'm trying to show, and I know I didn't put it in context, it's kind of out of place. But if you look at it, you'll see where LG's had a lawsuit. What she's claiming is, well, we didn't manufacture, the refrigerator. We just put our name on it pretty much. Well, aren't you liable for knowing that they knew back in 2014 that there was a problem with these compressors. They should have a recall on these compressors. So then they didn't. So they still have lawsuits, LG does. They had one, I guess it went wherever it went. So it kind of went sideways. But LG still has these class action lawsuits for the same compressor. So when the guy came to put the compressor in my thing, he's telling me it's the same compressor that they're having a problem with. So I asked him, so how long will this compressor last me? Well, at least 2 years. The refrigerator costs us $2,500 or better. 2 years, and I'm paying you $900 almost to fix it?
And so that same compressor went in and is now working.
It's working.
All right, but you don't know how long because.
Well, and this is what he told me. See, and these technicians tell me this. Well, we're backlogged on all these compressors because they're constantly failing. That tells you what's going on. So then they ship the parts to your house because they don't have an office. The customer works from his house, or the tech works from their house. So the technician tells me, he says, I'm constantly repairing these things. They knew they were defective. They're still selling it. But he said the new one's coming out and they didn't even put it in my refrigerator. It's a different kind of gas. I guess it's kind of like a propane kind of a thing. He says it's supposed to be a lower PSI pressure.
So what do you have here from the technicians that came out? The one that.
The very
helped
best,
you out?
the last two, if you look at the text messages,
There it is.
can you see them?
All right, so I have to find them in these.
It's the very bottom. It should be at the
100
very bottom.
pages. Well, there's 100 pages of the very bottom, so that's what I'm trying to, if you can.
Well, if you
direct
see the
me.
one where a refrigerator is, where it's taped up, and you'll see that we bought a refrigerator. I put the price of the refrigerator in there too.
I'm still, so you want the $802 that it cost you for that part?
Not the part, the repair.
Well, all right, so we don't know, because you spent $802, you got parts and you got an install finally.
23 days later.
Yeah, but so that's what you're wanting. your
Well,
money
the
back
reason is
for.
like they broke their contract with me because it's supposed to be done by the 15th and it didn't get done till the 23rd.
That's what I'm trying to find here in this 100 pages. Where was that?
It should be close to the bottom because I gave them to him when I came in for the clerk, the last 3 pages. And there should be a refrigerator and a tape on it, blue tape showing that I kept it open.
I don't have hard documents. I just have 200 pages here. So was there some sort of, when you first talked to them about, it's at the top here, just trying to remember where I found it when I was looking at all this.
I knew I should have
that
brought
says
oh,
the
here's, can I
15th?
give this to you right now? Here's
Sure.
one of them,
I know too.
but I don't have the other one from the other guy saying he couldn't come back. That's,
Okay,
so that's the
so
original
what's,
check.
what's this?
That's, okay, so this is where he put the order in for my compressor.
So the second.
This is, no,
technician?
that's the original check.
Okay.
And if you see where it says, good morning, I'm sorry, I just got back from vacation.
Right.
That's after they told me the guy was sick.
But what I'm trying to figure out, so we have appointment for you to come on the 15th. We haven't
Correct.
heard a confirmation on that yet. This is Ron Percival. So that's,
Correct.
this first one is you.
First one
Makes
is
sense.
Charles. Send it
So
to me.
where, it looks
Can I,
like,
can I just point it out to you? or
it's
not?
really hard to tell who starts. and
I
who-
know, because you know what? It doesn't have
Stops.
names on it.
Yeah,
So let me kind of explain it to you.
sure.
Yeah. Okay, so this is me. Just got back from vacation. This is Charles.
Okay,
I know that you're not, probably not the technician, because you come out and do it. I says you might make the appointment back, you made the appointment, so this is the
Okay,
original guy that
that's-
made the appointment. We have an appointment to come on the 15th. We haven't heard
that's
anything
you.
yet. This is me.
Okay.
I says we gave it the thing. Good morning, this is Charles. I'll be your tech coming on the second customer ahead. You know, so this is when he finally came on the
Okay.
23rd.
All right,
The other one is another page from the other tech saying that he couldn't come back.
so the 15th, they just said, we're gonna get the parts to you. It should be the 15th that we should be able to put it in.
At the latest.
And, all right, and so that's how you counted on that. But in the meantime, obviously, that was still 2 weeks. So you took care of yourselves and got yourself a new
Refrigerator.
fridge,
yes,
so you could not lose all that money in food.
correct.
And then it comes in, the next guy comes in on the 23rd and it's fixed with the part that was in your garage waiting. to
No,
be put in.
the guy came on the 21st is the guy that put the part in,
Yeah,
but he bundled it.
yeah, but the same part was.
Same
dealt
part
with
was
on
in
the
there, but he
23rd.
didn't put it correctly.
Yeah,
So then the guy that Charles came the second time and came in to make the repair because what he did is instead of making it going like a loop, he had it going back and forth to each other. So he blocked how that refrigerant was going into the,
So do you have anything in your documents that from that technician, that second one that made it all right, that told you all this information you're telling me? Or I see lots of information from,
well, they're not gonna be
about-
documented. I can't document what they said to me.
yeah, that's the problem.
But
There's
it's a
certain
document.
things, you know, I can relax, but when it kind of comes to hearsay that goes to the guts of the case, it's real difficult because that person I can't be,
No, I
you know,
understand.
the other side doesn't get to cross-examine them.
But here-
doesn't
but
get to
here's a-
test their
here's a whole-
understanding, their expertise, their credibility. I don't know if anyone.
But
knows
see,
what they're
here's
doing.
the
Yeah,
whole crust of the case.
Yeah.
Bottom line, they broke their contract.
so where's that contract that you say they
15th.
broke?
The 15th is a contract. That's what I saw. That's what I signed off on.
So
That's what the
the oral
$802,
contract, or was there a contract in
signed.
writing?
they have it
there.
signed in there.
So I'm trying to find
It's, no,
it.
it's on her paperwork with my
Okay,
signature.
So I'll go to defense exhibits. Maybe it'll be easier
Because you'll
there.
see where the, they show my refrigerator. They showed when they were supposed to come out. But you know what the funny is? They don't show that
So
it's
since they didn't come out the 15th,
correct.
I guess I have to, because they breached their contract,
Correct.
you were damaged by $802.
It was, to me, it was like, I'm paying for something. The bottom line is I'm paying for something I should never had to pay for. Because they knew this was a defective equipment. It should have been recalled
Okay.
years before.
LG knew that.
They
yeah.
knew it, and LG,
So
made-
actually, we're
made that.
going way back to product
well, that's where it
law
started.
as opposed to contract law.
And they didn't tell us when we bought the refrigerator, well, you know, they're having some problems with LG in our refrigerators. And they knew they were problems. So now I'm paying for something that's being put in a refrigerator after 6 years.
Right, so so you figure this out in 2024? And,
Well, when the refrigerator quit, and then
yeah,
the bottom line was I was gonna pay them up front. I was gonna give them the money. I had no problem paying the money, Your Honor. No problem at once at all. After 23 days, I'm tired of it. And just because if I'm paying you to repair something, if you want to get your refrigerator repaired and somebody took your money and don't show up for 23 days and you're calling people to tell them I have the parts and they're still, we don't see, and she just said, we're
so
having
you've got
logistics.
two claims here that are getting kind of smushed together.
Well, it's
One is
$70 for the
against
food.
Sears, which is, or I shouldn't say Sears, it is
Sears Holding.
Transform Sears LLC that says that I'm not really sure what that claim is, frankly.
Well, because
But
it's three,
that they
it's three
didn't show up on
companies.
the 15th, and so therefore you're damaged by $802. But then your next claim is different. It sounds like it's against LG and
No,
Transform Sears, that your product was defective and nobody told me in 2017 when I bought it.
it wasn't against LG because LG didn't sell me the product. So Sears, if you look at, if you
When I
go,
look at all your documents in here that say, about the difficulties with these linear compressors.
correct,
Where did you get this information?
online.
But how do I know it's reliable and dependable and accurate? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Better Business Bureau, you can't get any better than that.
That was the Better Business Bureau?
Part of it was, some of it was Better Business Bureau,
What-
some was like lawsuits that they show is still going on against LG.
What part?
Sears,
is-
there's one in there too, if you look at Sears, that they had lawsuits against them too.
Who does?
Sears,
Sears against LG, you're saying?
no,
No, Sears,
against Sears for selling their refrigerators.
that people have lawsuits against
Yes,
Sears?
well,
now?
they had them, but now I guess they got out of it for some reason.
Well, see, that's the problem. a
I
lot
know
of
what you're saying.
this
It's
is
confusing.
not-
How do you think I feel
It's
when I
not
started to research?
confusing. What it is, it's not substantiated. It's not authenticated. I got stuff that I'm trying to find corroboration for. Do you have, here, let me think, and all the information from these tags,
Right,
I don't know. I can't judge their
But you know what-
expertise, their credibility, or any of that. And so it's very difficult to get an understanding that who these are. But we got I'm looking at your Better Business Bureau.
I'd let you look at my
Here.
phone. Would that be more
No,
substantial?
I don't want to take your phone into evidence and then you lose it because,
Well-
and it's also not fair to the other side because things have to be here for everyone to review.
But you know how that works. If you do a
Right.
text, one comes in blue, one comes in black. you know,
Yeah.
so it's just
So
kind
I'm
of
just
hard to
looking at
do.
your Better Business Bureau information, which does have some credibility, but I'm not really sure who's, they're just complaints, and I don't really know, you know, their response, investigation, their washer repair.
There's
and I
difficulty
don't
trying to get them to
know-
fix anything in a timely manner.
Do you have anything here that tells you that it was the linear compressor that was put in, or is there somewhere a receipt or an invoice or something from the technicians?
They don't give us anything. All they do is ship the parts to us.
Okay, so that was what you got. That's the. Well, here. Let me turn to, yep, one more thing before I turn to transform.
No, it just, I mean, it's kind of confusing when you start trying to look at everything. But if you go through the whole thing, I mean, I didn't make all this stuff up on the internet. I mean, this is on the internet from lawsuits that people had lawsuits, class action lawsuits against LG, and you had it against Sears Kenmore too. I understand Sears is out of business, but you can't, if I would have sent it to Sears per se, they said, well, Sears doesn't exist anymore. So you had to take all three companies. Transco is the parent company of Sears Holding and Sears Home Services. So that's why I had to put all three names in there.
Okay.
So if I'd have put Sears Home Services, they'd say, well, we don't own them. So that's why I had to make all three companies involved in it.
Mhm.
I learned this years ago, you have to go to the, if you don't get the right names, then you just kind of wasting your time.
Well, you're right. You got to see the right people. So let me hear from Ms. Neer, who's here representing Transform Sears LLC. What's your response to this suit?
So this is a straight product defect suit. Like what Ron had identified, he purchased the Kenmore Pro refrigerator in 2017 without a protection agreement. So it's just the product itself. The product itself has a manufacturer's warranty. So if you look at Exhibit 1 on page 3.
This is all right.
Okay. So like what Ron identified, there was service and a compressor was needed. So if you look for at like the fourth paragraph, it says for 10 years from the date of sale, the linear compressor of this appliance is warranted against defects in material or workmanship. And if you go on, it identifies the first year of having the refrigerator, it's free of any defects. So you get the new part and labor free. Thereafter, after that first year, you get the part free, but you have to pay for labor. And that's this case.
All right.
So I provided exhibits of the whole, Ron had 2 service calls, and I provided all the records, internal records, parts ordered, when the tech went out, and all that good stuff. But then if you look at Exhibit 2, I kind of recapped.
You wait, me.
yeah.
Give these back, because that's what I'm looking at online, and you can look at, I just remembered you gave them to me. So that's what I'm looking on, not online, but in my electronic
Right,
file.
Yeah.
And so Exhibit 2 starts
Yes.
with that transform member records is the first page.
Right.
And-
So I provided all the service history for all his products, including the refrigerator, and you see the 2 cases. So if you jump to page 4, starting, it says call taken 2024-04-28. Service order A228-101-80055. Okay.
Yep, I'm with you.
Okay. So
And you have that in front of you as
I
well.
already read all of this.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. So Ron had called on April 28th of 2024, identifying that his refrigerator without a protection agreement wasn't cooling. The technician went out, the first technician went out on May 2nd and identified.
So I'm just hearing from one side at a time.
Okay.
So this is her daughter, and then we'll give you a short time to kind of respond, but
Okay.
it's all right, Ms. Neer, just because if you interrupt, then you interrupt the
No, no,
overall
that's okay. I'm
record
sorry.
and you
I'm
really
sorry,
mess
yeah.
up the record. So Ms. Neer, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. So, under Service Pro record, the attempts made, you see that there's 3 attempts. One on, let's see here, on 4:30, 5:15, and 5:21.
Okay,
Um,
I'm still on page 4
Yep, page
and
4, under Service Pro record.
record,
Okay,
and that details, I have to enlarge that.
okay.
And that details that 4:30, there was a call date. Okay, I'm
Okay.
with you now.
All right. So believe it or not, on March 1st of 2024, this year, Home Services moved from one database, a service platform, to another one. So all these records that the technician normally would put comments in, that was gone. You can
That's
just
why
see the
April
dates, but there
3rd,
wasn't-
30th,
right.
and May 15th are blank,
Right.
essentially.
But those are the dates that they went out to service the refrigerator. But I'm providing all the records that happened in that service call, as well as the parts that were ordered, which, as you can see, on May 2nd, there were parts ordered, but there was no information that the part was sent directly to the customer, again, because a failure of the system. So when he called customer service to say, hey, I've got the parts, I need the technician to come now, the service department couldn't see that. It didn't identify that the parts were shipped directly to the customer, which it normally they would do, because they don't want the techs having the parts. It's just easier for the parts to be shipped directly to the customer. So on May 15th, there was a scheduled date, because the original date that the customer or the service tech went out and said, oh, I need to order parts, he normally will set a follow-up date. And he'll say, if you don't receive the parts, we'll reschedule, otherwise we'll set that date. Okay. Ron said the tech called in sick. I'm not exactly sure. But then on the 21st of May, the tech arrived, the parts were installed.
And I see that, I'm going back to that notation. That's where it begins. It says comments installed, comp,
Mhm.
not sure what the next word is, and condenser tested okay on the 21st of May.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So then Ron identified he had a call again, and that was on May 22nd, saying, it's not cooling right. We had the tech come the next day on the 23rd and repair it.
So where do I see that?
So if you go to the second page of that document,
Second
where it says
page.
call taken 2024-0522.
Under Service Pro record, or where? Service ordered? Where?
So in the records exhibit 2, page 2 of that document. So I did it wrong. I had the most recent service order and then had the.
And how do you relate this to Mr. Percival's refrigerator? How do I know that this is about Mr. Percival's refrigerator? Service order number.
Yeah.
On page 2 is different than what we've been reviewing on page 4.
Right. So on the very first page of that service, record service, you see the history. And it shows the service order number of the two
Mhm.
refrigerators, or of the refrigerator, but with two,
I see.
yes.
Okay. I
So
see.
the parts that Ron had paid out were not covered under that manufacturer's warranty, which was the valve, the dryer, condenser. Those parts total $235.93, plus the labor of $544.62. And there was tax on all of that. The tax was $21.46, coming to $802.01.
And so you started out your testimony with this is a product defect case, but now we're talking about, tell me what you're, then we went into talking about
The
the
service.
service.
Mhm.
So tell me what you're meaning.
So Ron purchased the refrigerator without a protection agreement. So it's
Okay.
just the product itself.
And so then we have the, then you pointed me to the exhibit where Kenmore
Correct.
has, if you buy from your company, then this limited warranty is in effect.
Exactly.
Okay. And so we're going back to, I think that was page 3.
Page 3, yes.
Yeah, page 3.
Yes.
And that is what went with the LG
Compressor.
refrigerator. Okay. All right. And so
Yeah.
it's, if your point of view is that, all right, we're looking at, redirect me again to the paragraph 1, 2, 3, for 10,
Yep.
for 10 years from date of sale? No, for 5 years from date of sale. That's what you're,
The 10 years,
When-
because it's a compressor.
okay.
So for 10 years from the date of sale.
It's warranted against defects. All right, and so this is bought in 2017 and we're back on 2024, so 7 years when everyone's apprised. So the compressor is defective in the first year, but if after the first year, a new one will be supplied but not installed at no charge. What does that mean?
So
New
it's,
part will be paid for, but the installation cost is on the customer.
yeah, that's the labor.
And that labor, all right, and so that's what the 802 is what Mr. Percival paid, is the labor.
The labor plus the parts that were not covered in that extended warranty.
Okay, so the labor then. Okay, all right. And then the issue of a defective product from LG, what's your response there? That 2017, he bought this refrigerator, he should have been told about this, he wasn't, he says, and so therefore it's your fault. And you need to pay him $802. Where are you on that?
Sears and or Transform is not the manufacturer of this product. Kenmore name is actually owned by Whirlpool. Whirlpool has different manufacturers for their products. So in this year, LG manufactured that Kenmore refrigerator.
And so in 2017, when Mr. Percival purchased that, what do you think Kenmore's obligation is as to knowing about a defective part?
So there was a class action lawsuit filed in 2016 regarding certain model numbers manufactured by LG.
Was this one of those?
This was not one of them.
Okay.
So after that lawsuit, LG reconfigured the compressor system and had different models.
And so we don't really know at this stage, or do we know from your point of view
I
that
bel-
the 2016 refrigerator that Mr. Percival purchased actually had a part that was part of this class action?
Correct. The part I don't know, the model number was not part of the original class action. There is another class action against LG that is active.
All right, and obviously you're the legal, what do you know about that?
I'm not on that case and I can't talk about active cases.
All right, so you're saying then, kind of a summation here, you're the company Transform Sears LLC response to these, they kind of parsed them out, two claims, one, a contract issue that June 15th should have been the day that it was put in. I see there's some, that it was put in June 21st pursuant to Mr. Percival, but I see your records say May 21st that things were put in. And then this product issue, what's your summation on your response?
I can't say anything to what Mr. Percival identified as his version of the completed dates. I can only provide you what my company has as dates provided.
And so you're saying that the court should not award Mr. Percival, or should award, that's what I'm trying to get from you. What are you saying? What
So
should the court do?
so the parts were ordered, and they were installed. The refrigerator is working.
Right. So no contract violation and defective product, not enough information to show that claim.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So let me turn back to Mr. Percival, just to any quick response there at all. So those two issues, they're kind of separate. They are separate, but what do you think?
Okay, first issue. She's saying that they didn't know that was defective, which is a lie. Their own tech told me that. She can say what you want, but that when he replaced the compressor, he said that was one of the defective ones. He told me that. When he put the new compressor into me, same thing, using the same exact Freon that the old one had. So that was a lie. Second of all, if this is the way Sears does business with their home service, is people going to have to go out and buy a refrigerator to wait till people decide to come out and fix their refrigerator? The contract was, I'm going to give you $802 to repair my refrigerator, which I did. At the latest, it'll be there on the 15th to repair it. It should have been out 7 days before the 15th. I already had the parts. Their company would not acknowledge the parts were there. And she's already telling me there's a supply issue and our company, there's no communication between the company. They don't know what they're doing. Even the technician told me, says, well, we're having a real problem with communication, getting the parts, and if they're sent right. So she's blaming me because they're having an issue with their company. So I have to pay you the privilege of being down 23 days because you're having an issue with your company. I don't think that's right. I'm not asking for a bunch of money. Pay for which it should have been never, I should have never had to pay in the beginning. If that wouldn't have been defective, I would have had to pay $802 in 6.5 years. That's all it lasted, 6.5 years. For a $2,500 plus refrigerator. Frigidaire, I went out and spent $450. It'll probably work forever. It's a smaller one and it's a backup. If you look, you'll see I'm not even using it. But I had to have food to eat for 23 days. So I'm not asking for a ton of money. Just eat the bill. Say, okay, we made a mistake. We're going to honor it and take care of it. She offered me $150. I won't even cover the food.
All right. Well, that's the deal. Like I said at the beginning, I got to work on law.
Right.
And I got to work on reliable evidence. I mean, we reduce and relax the evidence
Right.
rules, but when it comes to hearsay, what the technician said, I don't know who this person is,
Correct.
what their expertise is, what their training is, what their credibility. So I can't take,
That's their head technician.
Well, I can't,
I know,
I don't know who it is.
I know,
And so I don't have anything from that person
correct,
or any ability to evaluate what they told you.
correct.
I believe you, but I have no way to evaluate its veracity or I don't know. So I can't use any of that. So I have to throw that out because the law says I can't consider it.
Okay,
So first off, going back to, we've got some their records say it was a month before, you say it was a month later. Either way, even take things your way, which I'm gonna, they said they were gonna get this thing installed on June 15th, 7 days later. That's substantial compliance, if I even accept that they made a contract with you for June 15th. I don't
Right.
have anything to corroborate that more than,
it's in
again,
their own records. You just said it, the
Yeah.
21st and 26th, it's
Well,
in their own records.
their records are May, yours
May is complete.
discussion is June.
I don't know where May 21st came from
Yeah.
at all.
That's what I'm
28th is when
looking at.
she even
Yeah.
said it.
Not, I
No.
know.
But Your Honor, she said
But
May
even if
28th.
I go most favorable to your side
Well.
and your facts,
Right,
it's still substantial compliance within 7 days. Of the
23
date.
days is compliance though?
From the 15th to the 23rd.
No, the
it's-
30th.
Don't argue with me, Mr.
No, I'm not
Percival.
arguing.
I'm just telling you
Okay.
that from the date that they said they were gonna
Right.
install, they didn't. June 23rd, they get it installed. In the world, it's substantial compliance with a contract to get it installed by 5/15 or June 15th, whatever it was. So the contract issue, they substantially complied. If there was even a contract in the light most favorable to you, I'll say there was. And then the product defect, I just don't have anything. I've looked before court and again here. Certainly there are complaints about things like washers and dryers, about refrigerators, from the Better Business Bureau, which is
Right.
pretty credible, but it's not substantiated in a way that your part had to do with these claims, these complaints, these product defects. It hasn't been shown. There has to be evidence.
But can I ask you a question?
So, sure.
What evidence can you bring besides what you see with people have put down? I can't go to an attorney and ask them, give me some evidence showing this.
Yeah,
So-
you get evidence from, I mean, you started here. It seems to me that there's some information out there that
Right.
the part that was in your refrigerator was in fact the one that was defective, that they knew. And so that's the line you have to go down. You have to say this part, they knew it was defective, and then these are their obligations under the law of product, defective products. But we're all just guessing right now, because I don't know.
Okay, well, let's
There
forget the
isn't any
let's forget
evidence.
the product.
So the bottom line
Right.
is that I have to dismiss your claim
Okay.
because there just isn't evidence for the court to order it. I'm glad you have a refrigerator that's working. Sorry for this frustration.
But this is just what we're gonna ask. I don't care if you
Sure.
dismiss it. I already planned on it. It's no big deal. The thing is, would you like to go 23 days without a refrigerator?
It's not up to me. This is your life.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna answer,
Okay.
questions that are
Okay.
just rhetorical. We're here in trial.
Right.
So unfortunately, because of that lack, I
Right.
can't, even believing everything that you said, which I think you're quite credible. And everything in the light most favorable to you, it just doesn't meet what the law requires. So that's it for today.
Can I, just for
claims.
future reference?
Yeah.
So this pertain. So what credible evidence do I need to show you?
Again, you would
No,
have
I don't mean,
what part in your refrigerator?
no, not that part at all.
What?
Forget that part.
Yeah,
Not at all.
okay, what are you asking?
What do you have to do for people binding by contracts that you're losing food, that you're losing everything, and that they can just show up when they want to? And this is what I don't understand. It says,
Well,
I can understand. the other parts.
again, there has to be a contract that the court can figure out. And all I have is a statement from you that this person, who I don't know who they are, and that said, we're gonna get it done on the 15th. That's an oral contract, maybe?
It's in writing. That's
Well,
what, I mean, that's what that text
Yeah.
message was, and that's her technician.
and I, even if we, like I say, in the light most favorable to you, 7 days is pretty substantial compliance for someone to come back and fix something. There are different, yeah, It's
So
substantial
this was
compliance.
under, this was
So
really
I'm
hard.
not gonna be able to answer your questions.
No,
I
no,
know
it's
you're
just for
frustrated
future
still,
reference.
and it didn't work,
That's
but
fine.
I would, you know, I don't find that your claim has the support you wanted to have.
That's fine.
So we're done here. I've got some other cases I
No,
gotta
that's fine, Your
tell the
Honor.
bad news to, that they're gonna get a new court date. Did you want this back?
Oh, I don't care. It just, the point is, like I said, I
Much
just
to
thought.
have what
nothing
you
else
want.
was Service.
Well, I think you got the point across. I hope to Ms. Nira that you're pretty
I don't think it really
dissatisfied.
resonates in there. I
Okay.
really don't. because
No,
it-
I've apologized so many times. I agree. A refrigerator, it's hard to live without. It's not like a washer or a dryer. It's a refrigerator with food. I completely understand.
All right. Well, thanks, Ms. Nir.
Okay,
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Your Honor. I appreciate your
Thanks.
time.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Mr. Percival.
Do I have any kind of paper in there?
Yes, I just signed the dismissal. All right, so who do I have left? Oh, you're busy doing that.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know how I feel about that one. I think what I don't like is that they'll give the parts but not the installation. And then if the installation's not done by their person and it's done incorrectly, that voids the next 9 years. Don't like that. I'm pretty sure ours is 2 years minimum on a fridge, but I'm not entirely sure. I love this judge though. She reminds me of my English teacher in my last 2 years of school. Like quite not spicy, but like she holds her own, but she's like quite gentle and she gives people the time, but yeah. This was 7 years after. Yeah, but they're when they were going through the different tiers, it was like 1 year after they'll send you the part for free, but they won't pay for the labor. And then the next was like, you won't get the part or the labor or something. Like, I thought it was so weird that they would cover the cost of the part and not the labor. That's just setting people up for failure. Okay, I'm gonna go to let's see what's going on here. So this is a stand-in
I'm handling the
judge.
jail arraignments this afternoon. Over there in the jail, we have Mr.
Yeah, let's go with this lady. I have to go to bed in about 15 minutes, so I'm gonna go make my tea and all of that. Back to Oscar tomorrow, but I'm gonna have to call it a night quite soon.
Bowie. This is a felony file number 242787FY. Sir, I'm going to read this to you.
Taylor Michelson appearing on behalf of Mr. Bowie for purposes of arraignment. We've reviewed the charges and waive a formal reading. Mr. Bowie does qualify for a court-appointed attorney, and we ask the matter be set for probable cause and preliminary examination.
Okay, do you wish to address bond?
We do, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Bowie has a way to get to and from court if he's released. He's also been working for the past 8 years doing manual labor at UFC Tree Care, and they're expecting him to show up to work. We ask the court to consider these factors and potentially change his bond to a PR bond, if you would.
And I'm also relocating my living situation too.
That was going to be my first thing, because I am going to order that you not have any contact with Maria Hughes. And not go where she lives or Mariah, I'm sorry, with Mariah Hughes.
Okay.
And not go where she lives or where she works. So you're telling me that you have a place to go if you were to get out of jail?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You don't have any reason to come into contact with her whatsoever, correct?
No, ma'am.
All right.
I mean, no, Your Honor, sorry.
That's fine, that works. And that you've been working at your job for a
Respect
while.
is respect. If you don't give it, you don't get it.
And Ms. Michelson said you've been at your job for a while, is that correct?
What was that?
You've been working at your job for a while now?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I have. It's actually relatives of mine, my aunt and uncle. So whenever I'm in a hard spot in my life, they always allow me to come make a couple dollars or come make a couple weeks worth of work or whatever I need to assess myself in life.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, at this time, I will convert this to a $1,000 PR, again, with the condition that you not have any contact with Mariah, and you are agreeing to that. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your
All right.
Honor.
And then what is going to be the new address for you to be sending all your mail to?
When she gets here, when my aunt shows up to pick me up, I will have her write it down and I will bring it right back inside if that's okay with you guys. Because I'm not
Yes,
too sure what her address is right off the bit, but I do know her phone number.
Okay, give me her phone number.
269-214-6601. And that's Christy with the I.
All right. Well, here's the deal. I expect that you will get these dates before you leave today, but you are responsible for contacting the court and the public defender, both of us, the court
Okay.
separately, in order to update your address with us today, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so the next dates you will get these dates when you're released from jail. You do have a probable cause conference next week. That is July 18th. That will be in courtroom
Okay.
A in front of Judge Scotulus. And then depending on the outcome of that, you also have a preliminary examination scheduled for July 23rd in front of Judge Belargin in courtroom B.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
you
you
must
very
show up
much.
for those dates and times, and at least the first one of those will be by Zoom. Do you have a good way to be available by
Yep.
Zoom?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then, without anything
Thank you very
further than
much.
Ms. Michelson, I think we're all set.
Thank you, guys.
All right, they're in jail. What's your name?
Derek Curtis.
All right, Mr. Curtis. This is a felony file 242788FY. I'm going to read it to you.
Taylor Michelson appearing on behalf of Mr. Curtis for purposes of arraignment. We review the charges and waive a formal reading. Mr. Curtis does qualify for a court-appointed attorney, and we ask the matter be set for probable cause and preliminary examination.
All right, do you wish to argue bond?
We do, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
Mr. Curtis has a way to get to and from court if he's released, and he's never missed a previous court date. We ask if the court would consider changing his bond from a cash surety to a PR bond.
Great. All right, well, you do have a public defender that has been granted, and we will get you set for your next dates. At this point, sir, based on the circumstances of these charges, I am not going to grant a PR bond at this time. We're going to continue this cash surety bond as it was previously set. That is a protective condition of bond. You may not have any contact with Alexis Lee Gates. You cannot go where she lives or works. I am also adding that you may not possess any firearms or any other dangerous weapons as a condition of your bond as well. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Your next court dates are going to be July 18th. That is in front of Judge Scotulus in courtroom A. And your preliminary examination is scheduled for July 24th. That will also be in courtroom A in front of Judge Scotulus. If you are still incarcerated at that time, the jail will make you available for those court dates. Thank you very much. We're all set.
All right. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. All right,
Hello,
they're in
Yana.
jail. What's your name? Hi,
James Edwards.
James Edwards.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Edwards, this is a felony file, case number 242748FY. I'm going to read it to you.
Taylor Michelson appearing on behalf of Mr. Edwards for purposes of arraignment. We've reviewed the charges and waive a formal reading. Mr. Edwards does qualify for a court-appointed attorney, and we ask the matter be set for probable cause and preliminary examination.
All right, do you wish to address bond?
We do, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Mr. Edwards has a way to get to and from court if he's released. He's also been working as a crane operator for Steel and Supply Engineering for the past 3 months, and they're expecting him to show up to work, preferably as soon as tomorrow. We ask the court to consider changing his bond to a PR bond.
All right. Sir, I got a bunch of information here that you were transferred out of, is it Kalamazoo?
Yes, ma'am.
You were transferred here from Kalamazoo?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are you serving another sentence somewhere else?
No, it's just misdemeanor tickets. Nothing, no felonies. This is my first felony ever.
All right. Are you on probation anywhere? Or you said it's just,
No,
it's
ma'am.
just tickets? You don't have anything else going on?
No, ma'am.
All right, at this point, I will, with that being the case, I will convert this to a $2,000 PR bond at this time, okay? That means if nothing else is holding you, you will get released at this point, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you do have next, well, while we're doing that, I want to double check that we have a good address for you. I've got you at River Street in Apartment 1.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's still
That
correct?
is my, yes, that's my address now, but I will be updating it to a better address, but that is fair for now. It's just the people that stay there sometimes throw mail out. But I will be transferring it'll be fine for now, but I will be updating it to my mom's address where I will get everything.
Okay, do that as soon as possible, because that is where we are going to be sending your mail, okay?
All right, I do check that, yes, ma'am.
All right, because that will become an issue where a bench warrant will issue if you don't show up for something because they tossed your mail or something, okay? That's not gonna be a thing for us, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, your next court dates are gonna be July 18th. That's your probable cause conference in front of Judge Scotulus in courtroom A. Then you also have a preliminary examination scheduled for July 24th in front of Judge Scotulus, also in courtroom A. They will give you copies of those dates and times before you leave today. And make sure that you're staying in touch with your public defender, okay?
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. They're in jail. What's your name?
Jockwell Griffin.
All right, Mr. Griffin. Let's see. Ms. Mickelson, were you able to speak with him perchance?
I was. Did you not get the form?
I did not, but that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and go for it. I just wanted to make sure before I got started.
Oh, yep, we did.
All right, Mr. Griffin, this is a misdemeanor, case number 24 SD 24961B. Wow. I'm gonna read it to you.
Taylor Michelson appearing on behalf of Mr. Griffin for purposes of arraignment. We reviewed the charges and waive a formal reading. Mr. Griffin will enter a plea of not guilty and does not qualify for a court-appointed attorney.
All right, Mr. Griffin, so you understand what that means. At this point, you're gonna have to either represent yourself or hire your own counsel. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And the only reason you are in there is because you missed a court date with us and a bench warrant and a change of bond issued.
Yes.
What
ma'am.
happened with that?
I end up not like, I forgot I had a court date and that's what happened.
Okay. All right. Well, here's the issue. I want to double check on your address, because I'm showing a Douglasville, Georgia address for you.
That's my mom's address.
What is a good local address for you where you would receive mail?
924 Fairbanks Ave, Kalamazoo, Michigan.
You know the zip out there off the top of your head?
I think it's 49048.
Okay. All right, because I intend to release you and make this a $300 PR bond. That's far more in line with what we normally have with this charge, okay?
Okay.
But your court dates are gonna your next court dates are not set yet. They will get sent to you in the mail and it will be arriving at that address, okay?
Okay.
All right, it's super important that you make sure that you're watching for that and that you're in contact with us if your address changes or anything like that, okay?
All right.
All right, so I'm gonna do a $300 personal recognizance bond, no driving without a valid driver's license, all right?
Okay.
All right, we'll get this set for a pretrial and then ultimately, in case you want it for a jury trial, and then you can make decisions on that later. And you are all set.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Your Honor, I'll zoom in with Mr. Pride here shortly.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Ms. Mickelson, I will have you kind of stay on the line with us if you are comfortable doing that.
Yeah,
I don't know, did you receive all of the information on Mr. Pride?
I did, yes, several
Okay.
files, right? There's like 4 or 5.
Yes, so he had been refusing to participate in his arraignments over the last couple of days. So today we are sending the deputy to his cell. He has been apprised that that this is kind of our process, so it shouldn't be a surprise for Mr. Pride. But I am going to read him his charges and we're gonna arraign him just kind of right there. And I'll indicate to him that we do have a public defender basically here on standby. I know the deputy had indicated to him that if he wished to speak to a public defender, we would make, accommodations for that. So we're gonna kind of do the best we can.
Okay, sounds like a
All
plan.
right. Thank you.
Yes.
There, we got the deputy. All right, can you hear us okay out there at the jail?
Yes.
All right. Okay, and deputy, do we have Chad Allen Pride there?
You do.
All right, hello, Mr. Pride. My name is Magistrate Winsemius. We are going to be proceeding with the arraignments. You have 5 different files today that I am going to read to you. I also have a staff member from the Public Defender's Office present. And so she is here just in case you wish to speak to anybody. So I wanted to make you aware of her presence as well. So at this time, I'm going to proceed with case number 240543FY, in which it is alleged that on January 19th of 2024 in Gunplain Township here in the county of Allegan, You did in count 1 engage in a willful course of conduct involving repeated or continuous harassment of Melissa Kellerman. The conduct being such that would cause a reasonable person to feel terrorized, frightened, or intimidated, threatened, or harassed. Said conduct actually causing Melissa Kellerman to feel terrorized or frightened or intimidated or threatened or harassed. And the defendant has previously been convicted of aggravated stalking, contrary to MCL 750.411I. That is normally a felony punishable by up to 5 years. However, you do have a habitual offender notice in which it is alleged that you have at least 3 prior convictions for other felonies. On February 9th of 2015, aggravated stalking. On February 9th, 2015, delivery, manufacture of ecstasy or MDMA. And on or about February 21st of 2023 of operating or maintaining a drug lab. Therefore, count 1 is punishable by up to life. Count 2, you are accused of threatening or intimidating, discouraging, or attempting to discourage an individual from attending as a witness, testifying, or giving information at an official proceeding, contrary to Michigan law. That is witnesses bribing, intimidating, or interfering. It is normally a felony punishable by 4 years or $5,000. However, because of the habitual offender notice, as indicated just a moment ago, that is punishable by up to 15 years in prison. Will indicate on that case, bond has been set at $25,000 cash or surety. At this time, that bond will continue. It is a protective condition of bond in which you may not have any contact, either direct or indirect, with Melissa Kellerman. At this time, I know that you haven't been screened by the public defender's office. So we are going to indicate that this is being set for a preliminary examination. You do have dates for that. July 18th is the date of your probable cause conference in front of Judge Scotchulis in courtroom A. Your preliminary examination is currently scheduled July 23rd. That will be in front of Judge Belargin in courtroom B. At this time, I do not have you represented by any counsel, so you are proceeding as representing yourself at the moment. If at any time you change your mind about that, you are able to contact the public defender's office for further information. Now, I'm sorry? You would like to be screened for a court-appointed attorney?
I said that I have a hired attorney.
You have a hired attorney?
Yes, I do. I have had one for months.
Okay, the court has not received any kind of an appearance from an attorney. So legally, your attorney must file an appearance on your behalf in these cases to be your attorney of record. So I would encourage you to continue to contact your attorney to let him know the court has not received any paperwork indicating that you have a private attorney at this time.
You guys have me on lockdown here where I just have to keep these phones up for an hour, so I can't get in contact anyone.
Okay, all right. I'm going to continue going through this arraignment portion. And then you will be able to talk to the deputies about the fact that you need to contact your retained attorney. I just wanted to make you aware that we do not have.
That will do me no good.
Okay. I am moving on to file number 242078 FY.
I'm not guilty on all of them. I'm good with it. I don't need to hear it.
I've got to arraign you on these, sir. I've got to go through these. This one occurred on May 6th of 2024. It is alleged it occurred on May 6th, 2024 in Otsego Township here in the county of Allegan. And it is alleged on that date in count 1 that you did assault, that you did resist and obstruct a police officer, or let's see, identified as Ross Meislowick, a sheriff or sheriff's deputy of the county of Allegan, that you knew or had reason to know was performing his duties. That is normally a felony punishable by up to 2 years or $2,000. But again, this is indicated as a habitual offender notice that you have at least 3 prior convictions for other felonies. January 17th, 2003, attempted possession of methamphetamine. January 17th of 2003, child abuse in the 2nd degree. And February 21st, 2003, operating or maintaining a methamphetamine lab in violation of Michigan law. Therefore, this is subject to up to 15 years in prison on count 1. Count 2, another count of resisting or obstructing a police officer. This time, Jacob Gage, a sheriff or sheriff's deputy of the county of Allegan that you knew or had reason to know was performing his duties. Again, normally a 2-year felony or $2,000 fine. With habitual offender notice as previously read, this is punishable by up to 15 years. In count 3, a third count of resisting or obstructing a police officer, this time a Dakota Tatro, a sheriff or sheriff's deputy of the county of Allegan that you had reason to know was performing his duties. Normally a 2-year or $2,000 felony, but with the habitual offender notice, that is punishable by up to 15 years in prison. In this case, your bond was set at, it looks like $1,000 cash or surety. That will be continued at this time. This is going to be set that you for an exam. You got a probable cause conference next week on July 18th in courtroom A in front of Judge Scatulus. Then your preliminary examination is scheduled for July 23rd in front of Judge Belargin in courtroom B. Moving on to the third case. This is file 241030FY. It is alleged that on or about March 1st of 2024 in Gunplain Township in the county of Allegan, in count 1, you did engage in aggravated stalking by engaging in a willful course of conduct involving repeated or continuous harassment of Melissa Kellerman. The conduct being such that would cause a reasonable person to feel terrorized or frightened or intimidated or threatened or harassed, and that the conduct did actually cause Melissa Kellerman to feel terrorized, frightened, intimidated, or harassed, and that you've been previously convicted of aggravated stalking. Again, normally a felony punishable by 5 years or $10,000, but with the habitual offender notice. And sir, this is not whether it is true or not, it is what's being alleged. And it's you. Okay, I wanted to make sure you understood. And then that you were previously convicted of 3 or more prior felonies, February 9th of 2015 of aggravated stalking, February 9th of 2015 being in possession of ecstasy, and also on February 21st of 20. Sir, I would ask you not to talk about the charges at this point, like no factual basis. And then on February 21st of operating or maintaining a drug lab. Therefore, count 1 is punishable by up to life in prison. In count 2, it is alleged that you did make an assault on Melissa Kellerman with a dangerous weapon, a pistol, but without intending to commit the crime of murder or inflict great bodily harm. That would normally be a felony punishable by 4 years or $2,000, but with the habitual offense notice, as previously stated, that is punishable by up to 15 years. In count 3, it is alleged that you did, with intent to use the weapon against another, go armed with a pistol. That is normally a felony punishable by 5 years or $2,500. With the habitual offender notice as outlined, that is now punishable by up to life in prison. And then finally, in count 4, that you did carry or have in your possession a pistol at the time that, or you attempted to commit or did commit a felony aggravated assault. That would normally be punishable by, and that is punishable by up to 2 years consecutive and preceding any term of imprisonment imposed for anything else in this case. Your bond will be continued on this at $100,000 as previously set. This is a protective condition of bond in which you are not to have any contact, direct or indirect, with Melissa Kellerman. You do have next court dates for this. That is, mark this, July 18th. You have a probable cause conference with Joseph Scatulus in courtroom A, and a preliminary examination on July 23rd in courtroom B. And okay, I understand. We have to indicate what you've been charged with, sir. In file 242773FY, it is alleged that on or about June 23rd of 2024, here in the county of Allegan, that it is alleged that you did make an assault upon an individual, Dylan Kibbe, with the intent to do great bodily harm less than the crime of murder. That is normally a felony punishable by up to 10 years or $5,000. But again, this is a habitual offender notice that you have at least 3 prior convictions for other felonies, including on February 9th or 2015, you were convicted of aggravated stalking. On February 9th of 2015, you were convicted of controlled substance delivery manufacture. And on February 21st of 2003, you're convicted of maintaining a lab. Therefore, this count is punishable by up to life in prison. In count 2, it is alleged that you made an assault upon Dylan Kibbe with a dangerous weapon, that being a motor vehicle, but without intending to commit the crime of murder or to inflict great bodily harm less than the crime of murder. That is a felony normally punished by 4 years or $2,000, but with the habitual offender, that is punishable by up to 15 years in prison. In count 3, it is alleged that you were the driver of a motor vehicle to whom a visual or audible signal by hand, voice, emergency light, or siren by Dylan Kibbe, a police officer who was in full uniform, and the officer's vehicle was identified as a police vehicle acting in the lawful performance of his duty, directing you to bring your motor vehicle to a stop, did willfully fail to obey that direction by increasing the speed of the motor vehicle or attempting to flee or elude the officer, and the violation resulted in a collision or accident. That would normally be a felony punishable by up to 5 years or $1,000 plus a suspension of your license. With the habitual offender notice, as previously stated, that is punishable by up to life in prison. In count 4, it is alleged that you did willfully and maliciously destroy or injure a marked police vehicle belonging to the Allegan County Sheriff's Department. That is normally a felony punishable by up to 4 years or $5,000. With the habitual offender notice, again, that is now punishable by up to 15 years in prison. Bond has been set in that case at $100,000, which will be continued at this time. That also, let's see, that also contains a condition that no firearms or dangerous weapons are to be possessed and that you cannot leave the state of Michigan. You have next court dates on this. Again, July 18th, probable cause conference in courtroom A in front of Judge Scotchalis. Preliminary hearing, July 23rd in courtroom B in front of Judge Belarden. And finally, this is the last file. File 240519FY. It is alleged that on or about January 18th of 2024 in the city of Otsego in the county of Allegan, you did engage in aggravated stalking, again, a willful course of conduct involving repeated or continuous harassment, in this time of a Jesse Null. The conduct being such that would cause a reasonable person to feel frightened or intimidated, threatened, or harassed, and that such conduct did actually cause Jesse Null to feel frightened or intimidated, threatened, or harassed, and that you had previously been convicted of aggravated stalking. Normally this penalty is up to 5 years and or $10,000, including a probation for any term of years, but not less than 5. This also has a habitual offender 4th offense notice. So again, 3 previous convictions of felonies. January 17th of 2003 for child abuse in the 2nd degree, February 9th of 2015 for the offense of aggravated stalking, and finally February 9th of 2015 for delivery, manufacture of ecstasy or MDMA. Therefore, count 1 is punishable by up to life in prison. In count 2, that is a count of bribing, intimidating, or interfering with a criminal case in which the case was punishable by more than 10 years, that by threat or intimidation, you did discourage or attempt to discourage an individual from attending as a witness, testifying, or giving information at a criminal case where the crime was punishable by a maximum term of imprisonment of not more than 10 years. This would normally be a felony punishable by 10 years or $20,000, and a consecutive sentence may be imposed for any other conviction.
I love you if you're watching.
They're not watching.
Unfortunately, because of the habitual offender notice, this is now punishable by up to life in prison. In count 3, against aggravated stalking, did engage in a willful course of conduct involving repeated or continuous harassment, this time of Melissa Kellerman. The conduct being such that would cause a reasonable person to feel frightened, intimidated, threatened, harassed. Said conduct did actually cause Melissa Kellerman to feel frightened, intimidated, threatened, or harassed, and you had previously been convicted of aggravated stalking. This would normally be a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison or $10,000 and probation for any term of years, but not less than 5. But with the habitual offender, as previously outlined, this is punishable by up to life in prison. In count 4, you are accused of bribing or intimidating or interfering with a witness that you did by threat intimidation, discourage, or attempt to discourage an individual from attending as a witness, testifying, or giving information at an official proceeding. Normally a felony punishable by 4 years or $5,000, but with the habitual offender notice, this is now punishable by up to 15 years in prison. This is also, so this bond is set and will continue at $50,000 cash or surety. This is a protective condition of bond in which you may not have contact, direct or indirect, with either Jesse Null or Melissa Kellerman. You may not go where they live or work or contact them. You do have next court dates on this as well. July 18th is your probable cause conference in front of Judge Scotchulis in courtroom A. Your preliminary examination is scheduled in front of Judge Belargin on July 23rd in courtroom B. The jail will give you copies of all of these dates and times, and the jail will also make you available for all of these dates and times. And at this time, your arraignment has concluded, sir. Thank you very much. And thank you, Ms. Mickelson.
Okay. Before I say goodnight, I want to point out one thing.
I'm handling the jail. Let's see. That also contains.
That is a very, wait, now I'm in the wrong place. That is a big toilet. That toilet's really high. It's really high up. Anyway, look at the cute little cat in his little cocoon. He's cold. He only likes watching Judge Fleischer. He's not interested in other judges. If I put Judge Fleischer on, he will watch like intently. Should we find one? Let's show a trick quick before bedtime. Let's find one. Where is one? Why can't I find? There we go. Look, this is a judge you like, eh? Not today. No tricks today. He's too cold to be bothered. Shame. Frank is the last guy under the blanket. He looks so mad too. Like I could literally put his head under and he wouldn't mind. Nothing exists outside of the blanket. That was a good way to end. So we actually call, when I do it to Winchester, we call her Purrito because she's like all snuggled and purry. Yeah, I did notice the toilet height. And when I traveled to Australia, the first day I said to my brother and sister-in-law, have you guys noticed that the toilets here are like really low? Oh, bye, buddy. They're like weirdly low. Like it feels like you're in a kid's bathroom. And they're like, no, we have not noticed that. What a weird thing to notice. So apparently that's a thing. Teresa, you're not here tomorrow. We're doing Oscar tomorrow, but it might start a little after 1 because I am back at piano tomorrow. So I have piano practice from 12:30 to 1, and then I drive back. So it might be like 1:15. But I will set up the stream anyway. I'll figure it out. You'd think that, but there's like apparently very little. Apparently it's like overinflated. I'm just scared of the talk of Australia with the prices. It was so expensive being there. 1 p.m. SA time, so Central African time. Right now it is 11:30, 22 minutes past 11. So you can take it back from there. Thank you for hanging out. I hope that you have a good afternoon, evening, nighttime. I hope everybody sleeps Lisa, that especially includes you because you're also a not sleeping person. Yeah. See you tomorrow. Bye.